Bum 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 bum. Hi, I'm Abby.
And I'm Amy.
And I'm Yasmin.
And this is the AA
meeting.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast, guys.
Absolutely. This is part 2 of the girls' Europe trip.
Yes.
If you missed part 1, I recommend checking that out first.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, I don't know. Is there any carryover? Like, are there any?
No, it's just going to be
inside
continuing
jokes?
on with the trip,
okay.
I guess.
All right. Well, you know, watch it anyway or listen to it anyway.
Yeah.
It's
So
fine.
we've got Yaz here.
Hey.
And she was on the Europe trip with me and one other girl. Unfortunately, Ames wasn't there, that bitch. But yeah, we're going to be continuing on from that. So should we just get straight into it?
I reckon we shall.
Roll the intro. Bum 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 bum.
This is the AA meeting. Welcome to our podcast.
Fuck. I said the. Obviously. Yeah, so we're gonna pick up where we left off, Europe wise. So we just finished. We did France and Italy, and now we're on to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do? We got to Zakynthos. So Zakynthos is like not in the cluster fuck of islands of like Mykonos, Ios, Santorini. It's like literally
It's on its own somewhere in the middle of the ocean.
no, but it's literally on the other side of like other countries. Okay, so here's Athens, Greece. Here's Mykonos, Ios, Santorini. Here's some countries. And then Zakynthos is over here. And Zakynthos is known for like having the most beautiful beaches literally in the entire world.
Like, so safe you would swim in them.
Yeah. And so we did a couple boat tours and stuff. And like you go to these beaches and the water is like, so we went to these blue caves, they're called, because the water is literally fluorescent blue. Like you've never seen it before like that in your entire life. It looks fluoro blue. Like it is insane. And so, and then that's also the beach. Zakynthos has the beach with the shipwreck on it.
Yeah, which you used to be able to go and like lay on the beach and people would do like day trips there and spend the whole day there. But we couldn't because last year they had some sort of, was it like landslide?
It was like a cliff. Yeah, so the whole thing is cliffs and then there's just
Yeah.
little bays of beaches that you like pull into.
And this just has this massive ass rotten ship on there that just washed up randomly.
Yeah.
And last year, a part of the cliff, while people were on the beach, fell down.
Yeah.
I don't think people
I
died.
think people were injured, but I don't think anyone died.
Because like there's nowhere else, because it's like a little cove.
You
there's
can't
nowhere else to
access
go.
that. You can only access it by boat.
And there's nowhere else to go. It's not like you can run somewhere else. Like you need to either run in the ocean and hope that you don't get hit, or miraculously make it like, miraculously make it to the other side of the beach. But yeah, so we could only like the boat.
We could only port in there
Yeah.
and then like take some photos and look at it and then leave.
Stunning waters though, beautiful.
Yeah. So our first night in Zakynthos, the boys weren't there. It was just the three of us because I don't know how it worked out like that, but it did. And we're staying in this like most amazing villa thing ever where the top floor, there's only like 3 floors. Top floor comes with a pool, deck chairs, literally overlooks the entire port. And because Zakynthos is like so far away, it's not very touristy island. So we were like, you know, from Hannah Montana, hello, New York. We were like ready for the Greek experience of like the white buildings, the blue. This is like goats. We were swimming with geese in one beach.
The tumbleweeds are like rolling across the road.
And like first off, actually our taxi driver drops us off in the middle of the highway and yells at us to get out.
Yeah, because we couldn't find where the Airbnb was. And
Yeah.
then he
just
didn't
got
know.
annoyed and was like, out
He's
here.
like, you get out now, and like literally
And we're like,
dumps
"Oh."
our shit outside of the taxi.
Okay. And there's no pathways, like footpaths anywhere. So we're like hurtling our fucking suitcases on this highway. Cars are honking at us. And we're like, where are we going? And then like all these old Greek men are like let me help you.
You go this way.
Yeah, and one of them had like no teeth and was like over there, and we were like, okay, are we trusting the dude with no teeth?
He was right.
Yeah, he was right. Anyway, we found our accommodation. It was beautiful. But the dude that like was running the Airbnb like must have lived in the complex or something, because he was just popping out the whole time. And also when we arrive, normally they give you keys and they just tell you like, oh, don't flush the toilet paper because you can't do that in Greece. Don't drink the tap water.
He was super accommodating.
He made us sit on the couch with him for
Yeah.
a chat for like half an hour, and
This
we were
is-
all like,
We just got off the plane. We were exhausted from our abusive taxi man who had just dropped us off in the middle of nowhere. And so we got there and he's like, okay, come with me. Sit down.
Sit down,
Okay,
right here next to me,
right here. Okay, you listen? Okay. So we do this, and this.
He's like, now come with me to the
Yeah.
bedrooms.
And he's like, okay, come. Okay. And after every sentence, it would end in okay. Like he's like, okay, let's go. Okay.
And then
Just,
like the
never
whole
ending.
trip we would like go out and we'd come back and he just so happened to be at the door and he'd be like, where have you been? And we'd be like,
Yeah.
we've been out. And he's like, okay, now where are you going? And we're
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And he's like, okay, bye. Yeah.
Oh,
And
he
he's
was
like, you
just-
need fresh towels? And
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And he's like, okay. And leaves.
Where have you been?
Was there anything crazy in Zakynthos? We went out partying. There was a club literally 2 minutes from our place.
Like Indy and I
Um,
could see it from our bathroom. We opened up the bathroom window and I could see the club and everyone, like the music was so loud.
Like
It would be
clubs don't
"Ins,
close
ins."
until 7 a.m. Like that's the and people are still getting let in at. So we left at about after 5, I think. Was that night?
Yeah.
And people were still lined up to get inside at 5. And we were done. Like we were so tired. And this club was like a tropical oasis and the DJ was like levitating like
Yeah.
2 stories above us. Like it was wild. And they play a mixture of like Greek and bless you. Greek and like English songs. So like that was pretty cool. And everywhere you go, you got to pay entry, but with your entry you get a free drink.
so it's kind of like you're just paying.
So you're
for a
only
drink.
paying for a drink. So pretty much it was either 5 or 10 euro per person, but you get a drink card. And so it's just like you buy a drink there. Like that was so
Yeah.
They
good.
should do that here because the whole point is that they don't want people to come in and spend $0. Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like more people would be willing to pay entry if that was.
Yes. And it's more like you're paying to be a part of this thing, so they should take care of you.
Yeah.
Even like they don't kick people out.
No.
If someone's sick, they'll help them, kind of a
Yeah.
thing. Like, because you've paid money to this establishment, they're gonna rather than like just kicking you to the curb like what Australia does.
Yeah.
You know,
it was
like-
actually like very good service.
it was extremely good.
Mm.
Yeah,
So yeah, overall Zakynthos was beautiful. We did lots of boat tours and swam in these amazing oceans.
and it was really cheap, Zakynthos, because
Yeah.
it's not touristy.
We paid like maybe €25 for one boat tour, and we literally like got to see all these beautiful places. And it was meant to be a 3-hour boat tour, and it turned into like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
And it was like amazing.
yeah.
But yeah, then I think we went from Zakynthos to Mykonos. And
And again, our
Mykonos-
flight was
our flight, it was the tiny, like, Connor's tall, but he was taller than the fucking
this
plane.
was a prop plane, a propeller plane, and it only had 14
Smaller-
rows.
Smaller than a Rex plane. If anyone's been
And a
on
2
Rex,
and a
you know
2.
that shit is small.
A 2 and a 2, and the first 4 seats faced each other like on the bloody train, and so like people are on the flight just staring at someone
Yeah.
else. It was the funniest thing ever.
So, like, it's delayed, and we finally get on the plane. We're all sitting there, we're getting settled in, and then we start, like,
Taxiing.
we start taxiing, and then just as we're about to take off, the captain says all this gibberish in Greek and then goes in English. Technical difficulties with the plane. We're gonna disembark, and then
But like very broken. They're like,
yeah,
we go get new plane.
yeah, new plane. You disembark, new plane. Yeah, okay, and then just hangs up.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, okay. And he only says about 10 words in English, but he talked for about 2 minutes in Greek.
Yeah, and we were like,
And
what?
and half the plane was like English because everyone was flying to Mykonos, you know, and
Mhm.
everyone's like, what is going on?
And then the Greek people, oh my God. This one man stood up and he literally was like, grabbed all his shit. Like, we hadn't even
So
taxied back.
basically we had to get off the plane, get a new plane, get on that plane and then leave. But like we hadn't even taxied back to where we need to be.
We're
and
sitting-
everyone in Europe, you know how in Australia, like you kind of get up on the plane, you get up, you
when
get your
it
stuff.
stops.
But like you let the people go in front of you and then you go, even if you're standing in the aisle and there's no one in front of you, you let those rows filter out.
Yeah.
No one does that in Europe. It's like every man for himself. If you're
Yeah.
at the back of the plane and you get up first and you get your shit, you run to the front of the plane.
Yeah.
And
it's
you hit people
insane.
along the way.
People would literally like had their trigger finger on the seatbelt and would literally, as soon as the plane.
We'd be taxiing.
Yeah.
And people get up and the flight attendants are like, get down!
Literally, they flight or fight. What? Flight or fight. They will literally like jump up. And so this man got up and he's literally grabbed his stuff and he's like, please let me off the plane. And we're like, we're not moving. The doors aren't open. We can't go anywhere.
And so then he started running down. He was in the first row. He started running down the aisle and we're kind of mid-plane. And I like a bunch of people start standing up and he's pushing through them. And I like stood up right in front of him and I was like, I'm going to stand here. I said that out loud. He's like, you're only standing there because I'm trying to push through. And I was like, yeah. And then
this other guy.
his friend is like trying to catch up to him.
And he's like, please let me off the plane. I cannot breathe.
And then I turn around and look at him and I was like, neither can we.
But weren't you a bit nervous because you weren't quite sure what the
No, we kind of just accepted the
We
fact
all accepted that
like,
we were all getting off the
Yeah.
plane, but we hadn't taxied back yet.
So, and like the doors were not like, no one had opened the doors.
Yeah, and he was
Everyone's
like, I
standing
cannot breathe. And I literally was like, neither can we. We can't breathe either. Why are you pushing through?
But like they were getting so
And it was just
cranky.
The biggest like kerfuffle ever. And then like he hated us in our group. We made friends with this like Lebo group of boys because they were like, what the fuck is this dude doing?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
And they started speaking to him in Greek, being like, the doors aren't open. You cannot physically leave this plane.
Yeah. And then we got off the plane and we had to wait for hours and then they found us a new plane and then we sat back on the plane. But it was the same plane because when we sat down on the first plane, there was like food like where my in the corner near my feet. And I remember I was looking at it and I was like, ew, that's really gross. They didn't clean the plane because I'm like a germaphobe. But then when we got on our new plane, there was the exact same food in the exact same spot near my foot. And I literally turned around, because we were all separated as well. I turned around to Connor and I was like, we're on the same fucking plane. See that food there? He's like, you're psycho. Anyway, so we get to Mykonos like at midnight or something. We're all exhausted.
Fucking starving because all we had to
Starving.
eat was a big donut that we just shared together.
We had like a munch of it each. Anyway, the place we're staying in, holy shit, is right in the middle of town. It was incredible. Like, I would so recommend that place to anyone in Mykonos.
Oh, perfect place. Like you're literally
There was
right around
there
the
was a
corner from
gay
club.
club 10 steps from our door.
Playing absolute fucking
Bangers
bangers.
all night. Like, it was insane. Anyway, so we had such great, it was very squishy accommodation, but it was great. And then we're starving, so we're like, okay, let's get ready, let's go out to dinner. By this point, it's 1 a.m. And we're like, where's going to be having dinner? Every fucking restaurant there. Okay, so we sit down. I had the best like risotto truffle food thing, mushroom, ever in my entire life. And we were sitting there until 2 a.m. eating dinner. Like, we couldn't believe it. Like, everyone, and there's just people everywhere. Like, people aren't wasted drunk. Like, they're starting their nights.
And it was crazy.
And everywhere you walk in, Mykonos was my favorite place that we went to. And it's not like white girl going, oh, Mykonos is my favorite place. There's a reason why, like, Mykonos is the best and why most people go there.
It was
Because
stunning.
everywhere you walk was white and blue. And, like, it could be a freaking pharmacy, but it was absolutely stunning. Like, I couldn't believe it.
And people really like say that Mykonos is so overhyped and so expensive. The only thing that was expensive was if you're eating dinner out.
Yeah.
Everything else was super cheap and like it was crowded, but I was really expecting it to be way worse. But it was fine.
So like, I don't know how we avoided it, but I've seen on TikTok people are like pushed up against each other trying to get through these little streets.
I mean,
which is
when
the
we-
entirety of Mykonos
when
is
we
all these
went
little
out,
streets.
that's what it
Yeah,
was
when
like.
it was at like 3-4 a.m. But during the day, we were just walking through everywhere. There was no one around. Like, it was so beautiful. Anyway, the next night we went to, the next day we did like a beach club and stuff. And then we went out that night and we didn't get home till very late. And in Greece, you dance on the tables.
And they like love
They
it.
love it. So like we were just dancing on the tables all night long. Cougs buys us bottle service with a sparkler and he makes them wait until a good song plays. So like none of us knew this. And he was like waiting until a good song plays, good song plays. And they were getting annoyed with him. Anyway, fucking ABBA starts playing and he's like, yeah, let's go now. Anyway, so like ABBA's playing and they bring over this massive bottle of champagne, a big champagne holder, all these glasses, and we're like, holy fuck. And it was just like a really amazing experience.
Yeah.
Core memory.
That was a core memory. It was so good.
How were your heads the next day?
We were actually, I think, because we would chug a Hydrolite at bed, and then the next day we were fine. But yeah, fuck.
I think we never had enough sleep for it to become a hangover.
Yeah.
Like we went to bed at like 6, 7 in the morning or 5 or 6, I don't know, like in that realm. That's when we went to bed. But the next day was Indy's last day in Mykonos. She was leaving early. So she wanted to get up early and go shopping. So we were like, yep, everyone up at like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So we basically just had a nap.
And then just kept going.
Yeah.
No wonder we
The
got
Euros
so sick.
is €3.
This
It's
is
the-
stuff that gets me.
It's the best Euros I've ever had. Like it was amazing.
My friends at Garadico.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever had Garadico.
Ah.
Oh no, way better. Way better. It was €3. And like the tzatziki that they make is so delicious.
So fresh.
So fresh. Anyway, so Mykonos was wild party scene.
And then Indy unfortunately had to leave us, and
Yeah.
she went ahead to London a little bit earlier than us. And so we went to Eos, which I think Eos was one of my favorite islands. I loved
So
Eos.
Eos is like a mini version of Mykonos. So it's still like the party island, but like it's more,
spread out, I'd say.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
tiny. And like all those white streets with the blue whatever, there was only like a little part of Eos was like that. Whereas Mykonos, every single home, even on the opposite side of the island of Mykonos, every single home was with that white
And we
on it.
stayed in the most stunning Airbnb. Thank you, Abby, for picking it. But what Abby didn't realize is this Airbnb was on the top of the fucking hill
Oh no,
of
wait,
Eos.
I did know that. But I didn't
Oh.
realize the bus didn't go up the top.
But we were pushing our suitcase, and because we'd ferried, so we'd been traveling for a while, and we were like really tired and a little bit motion sick, and we're pushing this fucking heavy suitcases up this hill.
So Eos is like port here, mountain, and the town's on the mountain, and then the other side is the beach. So everyone says you should stay in town because then you can just go down to the beach, down to the port kind of a thing. But we stayed slightly above town, which had a view of the entire town. We had a jacuzzi on the viewed the whole thing. Like it was amazing.
Yeah. And the Airbnb was stunning, like best
But
place
the
we
bus
stayed
doesn't
in.
go up there, it only goes to town. So it was like a 10-15 minute hike up a mountain.
Which I think without suitcases would have been fine. It was
Yes.
just we were exhausted, and then Abby and I got halfway up the hill. The boys had somehow decided to walk ahead, and they literally took off in front of us, and Abby and I are literally standing there nearly in tears.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Like this was like our mental breakdown. Like
Yeah.
we were laughing so hard that like tears were coming out of our eyes because we couldn't do it. And it was 40 degrees.
And think Stairmaster on steroids.
And that my butt, my quads, my calves, my feet were on fire. And like,
Oh, and by this point, we'd gotten our suitcases were so beat up because
Oh,
Grace
yeah.
just decided to fuck up our suitcases. I had a dint in mine in the side, and then when we got to Mykonos, my handle wouldn't work, so I literally could only push mine.
Yeah.
I couldn't lift the
and then
handle
my
up and use
wheel
it.
is like this. And so I've got 3 wheels.
And the rubber around
Which is
her
a lo-
wheels had just like
There's no
disintegrated.
rubber on any of my wheels, so it's like sparks were flying out
So
from
I
my
was like-
suitcase.
I was literally on an angle, like pushing both hands. My suitcase
Yeah, when you're
up the
pushing,
hill.
like your suitcase was like in line with your head, like when you're pushing it up this hill.
Oh.
Anyway, we were like crying, and then we just like we looked up, and the boys were like coming down the hill,
they
and
were
we-
like running because they saw
because
that.
they'd already gotten up to the top of the hill, realized we weren't there, and then came down to help. And like I have never been so grateful to have a boyfriend or just a boy there in my entire life, because then they carried it up
Yeah.
the whole
It
hill.
it was really good. I was like, because obviously Andre wasn't there, but like Abby had Connor, and then Cougs would just like have to help me because Connor.
Yeah,
was
he would
helping
like
Abby.
he would see that Connor would like take my bag, and he'd be like, Yasmin, I'll take yours.
And I'm like, thank you, Cougs.
Anyway, and so like yeah, we rented quad bikes.
That was so
And we drove
fun.
them all around the island. Holy shit, it was so dangerous, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was like kind of scary, but at the same time, like Abby and I went on our own and just like decided to have like a little frap around.
We had a little glory ride, and we fucking frap.
What is this word you're saying to me?
frap.
Frap. Like,
Make that up, or is that a real thing?
No, apparently it's a real thing.
Okay, go on.
I think the boys were saying. I
They
think it's like a
definitely-
bike thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely stole it from them.
Yeah. Because they were like, oh, we want to go frap. And they took the quads, and Yaz and I were at home, and then we were like, we'll do it
Well,
later.
yeah, we're
And we
gonna
did
get
it at like
frap.
sunset along the beach. It was so
Yeah.
beautiful. But yeah, what else did we do in EOS? We had a big night out.
Yeah.
That was the night where we sent you all those Snapchats.
So in EOS, we started off with this bar. I don't even know what it was called. It was Flames Bar or something.
Oh yeah.
And
Flames.
you don't pay entry. He just gives you a card, and it's a drink card. And you just go up, and I think you pay like,
You pay €5
Euro.
for one drink.
and it gives you 2 shots.
Additionally, 2 free shots.
Yeah.
So you get 3 drinks for €5.
And it's not like a yucky shot. It's like a very yummy.
And
nice
holy
fruity shot.
fuck, they overpour.
Oh yeah, they don't.
Half of your glass is like alcohol.
They don't measure. They just free pour. So I ordered a drink at one point, and literally like I had this much vodka and then this much mixer.
And you couldn't drink it. Like, it was so bad.
But we forced ourselves because we're like, it's for the what's the word?
It's just to get drunk. But like, okay, so EOS is known for doing slap shots or hammer shots, where you take a shot and you get slapped across the face,
or
you take a shot.
have a helmet on your head, and they hit you.
They hit you with the hammer thing on the head. They bang you or a plank of wood. They whack you in the head with it. So it's just like known for that because it's a real party place. Anyway, we go to this Flames bar. Every couple minutes, you're hearing a big slap, and we're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Anyway, we're like, "Fucking hell, we're in the slap bar," and so we all got slap shots by this chick, and holy shit, she's got an arm on her.
Oh,
My face was on fire for like 15 minutes. It was so like, holy shit. And I said to her, I was like, fuck, you must love your job, hey?
and she literally admitted, she's like, there's some people who are really rude that I just really slap the shit out of
Yeah,
them.
she's like, when people are nice, I don't slap them that hard. But when like annoying boys come in, I slap them
I don't think
really
that's
hard.
true because she slapped me very hard.
She slapped you quite hard.
I think it was because I sat down and like I was in a little skirt, and so Abby was like, "Oh, Yasmin, just be careful because."
Because I was filming her and
Yeah.
I didn't want her to flash or
And the
something.
lady literally turned up. She's like, "Oh, you're such a good friend." Turns back to me and goes, "Bah!"
So basically, I think I sent mine to the chat. I don't know if you watched it or not. But basically, you shot and then you get slapped across the face and then she gives you a sticker. And we paid €5 for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Connor got slapped so hard, but he went silent afterwards.
The pain was insane. Holy shit. I'm glad we did that and not like the plank of wood on your head.
Yeah,
that would
me
like
too.
give you a concussion. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good though.
And then we went to a club called Pash afterwards, which was like a fucking rave. And like you could dance on the tables in this one, but like we were dancing on the bar where they were like shaking cocktails.
They were like making a drink,
like
and
putting
Abby
the
and I
glass
was
like between our legs and stuff. I've never seen
Yeah,
it,
neither have
but
I.
yes. Yeah, it was fucking wild. Like everyone says Greece partying is like
insane.
insane and
Oh, and they also don't start partying until like 2, 3 a.m. So we would like go home, have a nap until like 9, get ready, and then go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd be like preeing at 1 a.m. and normally like we're in our last club for the night here, you know? And so then and then when we'd get to the club, it'd be like 2 a.m. And we'd be like, holy fuck, it's so late. And then you're there till like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And this one, we didn't get home until like, I reckon the sun was rising and we were walking home.
Yeah.
And
we had to get on like a 5-hour ferry.
Yeah,
the next
we had
day.
a travel day. And then Jack wasn't finished partying, so he decided to go back. And then he came home at like 8 the next morning.
And we had to leave at like 9.
And we walked downstairs. He's fallen asleep on this little bench, literally like this.
In his clothes
In
and
his
everything.
clothes, sitting upright. And we walk around him and he's got gravel and dirt all down his back.
Like, I reckon he fell into a bush or something, but he doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, he woke up. We got him to the ferry and he's like, I don't remember shit about last night. Passed out on the 4-hour ferry.
And then we get to Athens and he's like still in his clothes from the night before because he didn't have time to like change or shower or anything.
Like, we packed up his bags.
Yeah, we literally like zipped up his suitcase and
lost
everything.
his glasses, and he has like expensive like prescription glasses. Turns out they were outside just chilling on like the little day bed.
Anyway, Greece is wild.
Yeah.
And like I said to the girls, like I would so do a holiday just Greece and do like 6 weeks just island hopping.
Me
Because
too.
the ferries are so easy, like between the islands. Like the ferry back to Athens was a fucking mission. That was like so rocky. But like between some of the islands was like half an hour, an hour. And so like I would for sure do like 5 different islands and a week in each island kind of
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah,
It was
amazing.
beautiful.
I think from there we stayed the night in Athens and then we headed to London.
Yeah, we said bye to the
yeah.
boys and went to London.
And London was great. No one prepared me. I knew it was going to be cold, but in my dumb head, I only packed one jumper and that was for the plane. And it was this little like flannel sort of jumper. It wasn't even like a jumper. And that's all I had. I had one pair of pants and that. And I had to survive. We were staying in London for the longest. We were there for like 6 nighs. And it rained majority of the time. And we were...
Like I packed pants, but I didn't have a jacket because I was like, oh, I'll wear pants and a top.
And we were like, oh, we'll be fine because it'll be warm during the day. No, idiots. We're going to see shows every single night.
Yeah.
Right. We just
Anyway.
were unprepared.
And then like I think because of all the partying and everything in Greece, the whole holiday was catching up on us. We all got really sick in London. And I think because
Yeah.
the weather was really shit, we were out in the rain the whole
we were
time.
staying in like a hostel, like a 4-bed private. So we'd have a random person
No, a
in
4-bed
there.
dorm.
4-bed dorm, sorry. And we'd have a random person
We
in
had
there.
so many random chicks filter through there, and it's
know.
like awkward.
And then I think we all got like TMI, constipated and backed up.
Because we wouldn't like pay to have good food or pay to have a coffee because it's like £5 for a coffee, which actually works out to be 10 Australian dollars.
And when Abby and I worked out by the end of like London, we had one meal out, and that was the first day that was there. And then the rest of it, we literally were just eating snacks because it's so expensive. And we'd like spent all our money on like shows and like little gifts and like touristy things.
Yeah.
That we actually didn't eat a proper meal in London.
Yeah. And then like, so the first night of London, we went to, there was a whole group of us. We went to Lion King. We were meant to go to Cabaret.
Oh, but can I say that on TikTok? Oh, not TikTok. On
Yeah, I guess. But like, so there was police tape everywhere, and we're like, oh, surely it'll go away. So we go to the pub around the corner, and then turns out that like someone was trying to like jump off the building because it was like a massive building. So the show was cancelled, and so we were like, shit, we really wanted to see Cabaret, and like the other people there, that was their last night in London, and this was our first. So we all like organised to see that one together.
But obviously, it's like an
And so we
uncontrollable thing.
we
and
couldn't-
Unfortunately, we couldn't.
Yeah,
do it.
so we couldn't watch that. So then we end up running to all these different musicals to see where has enough for 7 or 8 people.
And they're like right around the corner from each other, and they're heavily sold out. Like even
Every
like
night. It's a
shitty
fucking. It
little
was a
musicals.
Monday night, sold out. We went to about 6 musicals, sold out. By this time, it was like 7:15, and all musicals start at like 7:30, and we were like, holy shit, we need to see a musical. And it was like these people's last night, and they were like, we need to see like a show.
They were like, there's one thing that we want to do. It's just all we want to do is see one musical before we leave.
Yeah. And so we end up going to Lion King, and this bitch American in front of me gets the last seating seats, but only she didn't really want him. But then I came in and I was like, do you have enough seats? And he's like, the dude was like, well, yes, I do, but if she buys them, then no. And so this lady was like, I don't know if I want to buy them. And then when she was like, I was like, oh, we really want them. And at this stage, there was no one there because I like ran ahead and other people went to other shows to try and find things. And I was like, no, we really want them. We'll pay for them. And so then this lady was like, oh, no, I'll get them. So she bought them. And we were like, fucking hell, this bitch. Anyway, everyone starts rocking up now. And he's like, putting her transaction through. And I was like, oh, she got the last tickets.
Oh,
there might be like 2 or 3 seats left, not for all of us, but like random people.
It was like a big group. I think there was like 7 of us or something.
Yeah. And so then she's starting to leave and he's like, okay, well, I couldn't sell you this before because we had to sell all the seating tickets, but there's actually standing tickets for £30.
This bitch walks back and she's like, I'm sorry,
Turns
did I just hear £30? I want those.
And he's like, no, you can't. I just sold you these. And she's like, no, well, I'm going to go talk to my husband. And she's like very American, basically like telling him what to do, basically. And everyone in London is so nice. They're like, oh my gosh, that's okay. You're so lovely. But like everyone is so nice the whole time. And so he was nice to her. But then when she turned around to be like, I'm going to go tell my husband that you give up £30 seats, and he like looked at us, he's like, I'm not giving her those seats, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and so then we got those, which was amazing, but the Lion King was like 4 fucking hours long. And literally by the end of it, like I was on the floor, couldn't see anything, I could hear it. I was like, that's all I need. We were all like running, we were all dancing to all the songs because like our legs and feet like were in so much pain.
It was like an amazing musical, but yeah, we were just marathon. Like exhausted.
Yeah.
And Abby and I had just had a travel day, so we were already like pretty tired.
Yeah. Anyway, and then we did all the London-y things over the next couple days, and
Camden Markets. We went to the little.
We got the chocolate-coated strawberries.
Best strawberries of my life.
Holy shit, British strawberries are insane.
They're so fresh.
Oh, we went to Notting Hill.
Yep. Yeah, you would have loved that.
Yasmin and I haven't seen the movie, so we don't get the hype.
Yeah.
But we went there.
Yeah, Indy she was like, I don't care if I go on my own. I want to go. And so we're like, okay, we'll come.
We'll come with you. Yeah, of course. Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then we saw another show, Crazy for You, which was like amazing. And then we ended up seeing Cabaret.
Yeah.
Which was like an immersive thing. Like as soon as you walk in, people were like dancing right there as you're ordering your drink and stuff like that. And
there's violinists playing and they give you a shot.
They're walking through the crowd. Like you're not even in the auditorium. You're in the foyer ordering a drink and they're like playing a violin right next to you. It was like really cool. And then we also went to Book of Mormon, which was super fun. And we were all just really sick. So like we were ready to party in London because we'd been told that the partying was crazy there.
Yeah, and we so expected like, oh, this is going to be our week of partying. Like we're going to get hammered. And no, we were sick and exhausted and watched shows every single night. And so by the time the shows ended, we were like,
we'd get a burger from across the road and go to bed.
Yeah, we'd get a £6 burger because that's all we could afford and go to bed.
And then we went to Paris, which was like,
oh, that was amazing.
That was my favorite like city. And like I can so see myself living there. And there's Lime scooters, but no helmets.
No helmets. You ride on the road with the traffic. We definitely violated some rules over there.
We've my app wasn't working, so like I had to get on the back of Indy's, and like she didn't realize that was a break, so we were hitting things. We almost killed like 4 French people. There was this Frenchman that screamed abuse at us because we almost like ran over his child. And then like you on the Arc de Triomphe, you've probably seen it before, but there's no lanes. and you just drive on and you just stop in the middle of it and you just go off wherever you can. Everyone's just going every way. We're on our scooters trying to get through, like literally almost died a million
And these
times.
scooters kind of go pretty fast.
They go
Like
extremely fast.
you're like yeeting down the street.
But, like, and on the cobblestone, you're like,
All shaking away the pounds.
literally. But like, oh my gosh, the Eiffel Tower.
And
And
it's so stunning. And like the videos that I have don't do it justice of when it's sparkling. Like it's so
There's
pretty.
nothing like it.
Yeah.
And I love Paris, and I just really want to live there.
And we saw Moulin and Crazy Horse, which were amazing. And what else did we ate snails.
I ate a snail. Yeah.
We got Abby to eat a snail.
pressured into it.
She was panicked eating it. Her like fork was shaking as she was putting it into her mouth. Actually good.
So it was cooked in a lot of like garlic
Like-
butter, pesto
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
But in my mind, I thought when I'm eating a snail, it's going to be meaty and chewy.
Yeah.
It wasn't though.
I thought it'd be stringy, kind of like.
It was kind of like
It was like a
soft.
really. It was like kind of springy, like halloumi, but was like a mushroom.
Yeah. Mushrooms are good connection there.
But they weren't like your local snail. These were fat fucking snails. Like these were big boys.
Yeah.
You know, the one out in your garden, you know. Yeah, anyways, we all had snails, which was wild, and we didn't have like frog's legs or anything like that. Like that was a bit extreme.
Yeah, we thought the snails would probably be enough. But yeah, that was amazing, and like we just loved
And
riding
the
around
food
on the
in Paris,
scooters.
like amazing again. All we had was pasta, and we were having like from Greece and London, we were having like pasta withdrawals. Like, you know how you can become obsessed with carbs, like literally addicted. Like we were full addicted to carbs, and every day Indy and I would be like in pain because we hadn't had carbs. We'd be like, oh my god, I need pasta. Like my stomach needs it. Anyway, so the food was delicious in Paris.
And then
And we had like a big picnic. There was like other people we met up with.
the best like croissants and like
Oh,
sweets and
croissants
Oh,
for €1.
cheese. Amy, you've never tried cheese until you've tried Paris cheese. It is
Oh,
amazing.
even the olives. Oh my god, the food was just like,
Our picnics were the bougiest picnics I've ever seen.
I know, they were
so
so good. And it was 50 cents for a whole baguette a meter long. And so for a snack, I'd just go to the grocery store and get a baguette and just chomp on it.
And I got really obsessed with nuts over there. Like I can't say that. There in Greece there was like these honey coated nuts. Oh, I could not get enough of them.
Good.
And then like
everywhere we went, Yasmin pulls out a bag of nuts and starts
because I
eating
was
them.
like, I need sustenance through the day. So I was buying a packet of nuts wherever we are because I was like, that's good protein. Like I need something.
Yeah.
And they were like, for a packet of nuts, it was only like €1 to €2, which is like so cheap. But yeah, it was amazing. I loved them.
Paris was just so beautiful, and we did a lot of shopping there.
And then
I just didn't want to leave Paris. Like I literally was like tearing up. Like I don't want to
I know.
go.
We had like our last night. We saw the Eiffel Tower for the last time, and then
and we were all so depressed.
yeah, and then we're like hugging each other. We're like, oh, this beautiful moment watching the Eiffel
I know.
Tower.
And then we were obsessed with those fucking scooters. We could have walked places, but we scooted.
But they were so cheap. Like you would literally scoot for half an hour. It cost you like maybe €7.
yeah. And like we were fucking menaces. Like, you know, you're supposed to stay in the bike lane and whatnot. Well,
You're
like
supposed to
going
stop
on
on
the
it.
pedestrian path, then crossing over the main highway and then shit like that, so that we could get like the best time we could. Kind of.
And then at one point, Abby and I had just crossed diagonally across one street because we didn't know where we were going. And this French lady starts speaking to me in French. And so I was like, oh, do you speak English? And she was just like, oh, yeah. Where did you get those Lime scooters from? And we're like, oh, literally just over there. She goes, okay, I'm only asking because
she was like sassy French though.
She was like
mean.
all these Paris people have just signed this thing to get rid of these scooters because they are so dangerous. So where did you get them
And
from?
she's like, because people just drive them across the roads, they throw them anywhere. And like, she's just watched us go diagonally through a major intersection and we're in the middle of the footpath. Like, you're not allowed to have it on the footpath.
yeah, we were trying to cross over to get into the bike lane. And we are like, oh, over there, there's just the Uber app that you can use it on. And then she was like,
oh,
okay.
And then we're like, no.
she's like, well, enjoy. And like walks off and we're like, hey, no.
Literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paris was so beautiful. And like our last scoot home, we were like, our last scoot.
Yeah. And then we finished off in Amsterdam, which was so much more beautiful than what I imagined it to be.
There was so many canals and we like rented our own boat and did like a whole canal tour, like just us, no guide.
And no one told us that there was a bloody zoo.
There's a zoo in the middle of Amsterdam. So we were like on this canal and I was like, is that a giraffe?
And we
There's
thought it was
fucking elephants
fake.
and shit.
Yeah, and they had a zebra.
And then like every bridge has like those flowers on it and there's bicycles everywhere. Holy shit, you almost get taken out by bikes.
Like they don't slow down. They'll ring the bell and then like if you're not out of the way, they will run into you.
And the smell is like insane.
We walked out because we got a train from Paris to Amsterdam. We got off the train and as soon as you walk out the doors, it was just
Like hit in the face and you're like,
Yeah.
oh.
You're like, wow.
And even like you'd go into a shop and the shop would kind of just stink like just like a gross shop. And you'd be like, oh. And I literally was like, oh, I'm going to go outside for some fresh air. I went outside and I was
You
like,
can't
I'm going to go
escape.
back into the shop. That smells better than out here.
Our hostel was amazing. The room that we stayed in, it was a triple bunk.
It was so 3 on top of each other.
with curtains and like you had your own little like netting and like shelf. So we all like went to the grocery store and got little snacks. And so I had a little snack pouch at the end of my bed.
But like that, and we were staying with other people as well, like people that we knew. And that was like the funnest accommodation because we'd all like open our curtains and be like, good morning. And then there's someone at the top there that's like, good morning. In the fucking triple bunk beds. Like literally never been so many bunk beds in my entire life.
But yeah, that was so fun. And then
Amsterdam was beautiful. And like we saw a peep show.
for €2 and you literally get shoved in this box. And Indy and I went in together and we're literally watching this lady and there's all these windows. So you could see the person straight across from you, like if they had paid at the same time.
Because the chick's in the middle on this like revolving cushion.
And I
Doing
don't
her
know,
thing.
we knew that what we were in for, but I think we were just expecting like just some tartars, but full cooch was out.
Yeah.
And she was like doing windmill.
yeah. She was working for that €2.
She was working. And
She'd,
we were like,
point at us because like then you can book them for private things.
yeah. And she's like, I'm number 4.
Yeah. And she would like point to us and like I was in a booth by myself and because you can only do 2 at a time and we were an odd number. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go by myself because everyone else was a bit like, oh, I don't really want to. And I was like, let's see a peep show. And then I didn't know what to do. So I literally was like smiled at her and then I waved.
And she's like, ooh.
And then she like does all this stuff for me and I'm like, oh my God.
And then we walked down a street that literally was like, it was like Barbie dolls of strippers.
So we were in like the red light district and it was like by accident we were trying to get to the food. So we're like, oh, let's cut through this alleyway. And we get down this alleyway and it turns out to be like that street where it's all the glass windows and all the ladies are there.
And if the curtains close, oh, something's going on.
That means there's something
behind
going on
that.
behind the curtain. But it was like early in like the sun was still up when we did the peep show and stuff because we wanted to do it earlier until like we didn't go late and it was really rowdy and gross.
And because there was also like some gross people going into there and like
And doing things and stuff. So we were like, let's go during the day so that we can try and avoid all that stuff. Yeah, so we're like walking past and these ladies are like pointing at us to like come into the room with them. And at first I was like, oh, what's in the room? And I was like looking in and I was like, oh, I shouldn't go in there because it's like a bed and a shower. But it was actually like they only a couple of them were like, come in here. Other ones like just fucking standing there on their phone. One of them was like sitting on a chair.
Yeah, because I think they knew who their target market was and we
Yeah.
weren't in.
But like they just like don't care and boys will come up to them and then they'll just be like, all right, I'll put my phone away, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to earn my money. But yeah, it was like super cool. Amsterdam was beautiful. And then before we knew it, our trip was over.
I know. But we were like so ready to come home.
Yeah, by this point we were like
We were-
feeling a bit sicky, a bit ill, not feeling our
Hot girl selves.
hot girl selves.
And I felt fat and clogged.
Yeah, a little bit backed up. It was time to come home. So yeah, we were quite
And then
ready.
on the way home, we had a 6-hour stopover in Bangkok.
Our favourite place.
And I was like, all I wanted was like vegetables because we didn't get any in London or we only had it in Greece the whole time. And I was like, I just need a stir fry. And I was like, oh my God, we're in Thailand. I'm going to get pad thai. And so in the airport, and I thought like Thailand's like cheap, right?
Well, like everywhere in the airport was cheap. Like when we got there, I bought sanitizer for literally like 20 cents.
Yeah. And so then like we go to this like restaurant, but it wasn't like a bougie restaurant. It was just like a sit and eat in the place. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, I'm having pad thai. And to like get the waiter's attention, you gotta like press this button and it's like,
It's like
And
a
then
rooster call.
all the wait staff like reply to that by going, ah.
all at the same time.
So literally every 2 minutes there's and we're like, where the fuck are we?
They sounded so sad every time it happened. Like, oh, I can't
I know.
wait.
And so
I
the
don't wanna do
girls like
this.
didn't get anything, and I was like, okay, I'll just eat. And we were like, we're here for 6 hours. So I was like, I'll just eat really slow. Best fucking pad thai of my entire life in the origin country. Like, I was loving my life, and I felt I can't eat plain food because it just grosses me out, and also they don't normally have like a full veggie option, or they run out by the time they get to us because we're always at the back. But so I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna have a big bowl of pad thai, and I did. The bill comes, and I don't know what the conversion rate is, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll pay for it. And then I just out of curiosity converted it because I was like, oh, 930 baht is like, I was like, oh, maybe that's like $9.30 Australian. Oh, that's what I thought. And I was like, oh, it's probably like that. But and then I converted it, and turns out I paid 45 Australian dollars for my pad thai.
What? But
In Thailand.
Yes,
That's
it was the best
absurd.
pad thai of
But
my
to be fair,
life.
Indy and I tried to tell you, like, Abby, this is expensive here. And you're like,
no, you
no,
didn't
no,
say
yes,
that
we did.
until afterwards.
No,
you said
we-
we're at a restaurant, of course. But I was like, a restaurant in Thailand?
Yeah, we went to Thailand, I think, once when I was a kid, and we would go to these like bougie places, and they were cheap. Like that
Yeah,
was
I
the
know. Even like
I
around,
think we were in the airport. Like, it was
but
just-
even like I got watermelon from a shop there, and it was 100 baht, which ended up being like $6 Australian. So I don't know what that place was.
I think it must have just been the airport and the section of the airport that we're in, because on the other side when we first came, everything was super, super cheap. So I don't know where we were.
Or maybe they just like overcharged me, but I paid 45
No,
Australian
I think it was
dollars.
on the menu, because I remember doing the conversion rate and I was like, oh, this is like pricey. Oh, wow.
In my defense, it was delicious.
But we made it home, and then we ended up waiting an hour and a half for our bags to get off the plane. Mind you, we're one of the first flights into Australia.
Yeah, we got in at 6:30 in the morning, and we had to wait so long for our luggage. And by this point, we were all just like, we've been traveling for 36 hours, and we were just like, get me home and get some vegetables in me.
Yeah. All I wanted, and a good coffee, because it was really hard to find a good coffee. And yeah, it just took us forever to get there.
Moving on to tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks.
So Yaz and I are just going to list a couple of things that were like some tips or tricks from the trip. And then we're going to move on to a segment where Amy will ask us some juicy questions. Do you have any tips and tricks, Yaz?
I'm hating to think, so you go then.
Okay. Kind of one that gets overlooked. Make sure if you're going to beachy areas, you bring these 3 things. You bring a beach towel, you bring a tote bag, and you bring like rubber slip-on shoes.
Yes, because I did not bring all 3.
Yes, you didn't bring any of those.
I brought my slides, but I just left them. I kept forgetting them.
Yeah. So like even the tote bag, I used it like to go get groceries. I used it on day trips. I used it to put dirty laundry in. Like, it was so versatile. And then the beach towel, obviously that was like very handy. I just had a thin Turkish one, so it just rolled up to nothing. And then the rubber shoes, I got like rubber Birks, and they were so comfy. And I was able to ended up wearing them into the ocean because I couldn't stand the image of myself like walking into the ocean
And
on
your
all those
feet
rocks.
would hurt so much from those rocks.
Our feet were like bruised. So I would like wear these shoes always, and then wear them in the showers of all the accommodation and stuff. So like that was great.
Maybe mine would be luggage straps, because you just don't know what's going on with those bags. They'd be beating them up.
Yeah.
And also mine came in handy when my handle got stuck and I just literally couldn't get it out. So I ended up using my luggage strap as a handle. And so
It was like a leash.
Yeah, it was like a leash. So when we were in EOS and we're going down that hill, I was like walking my suitcase home. So,
and she'd be walking and dragging it behind her, like dragging a dog.
but it worked, and it saved me having to like carry my 30-kilo suitcase. So
Yeah.
that and Hydrolyte.
Yes. Miss Amy, your Amy's question of the podcast.
All right. This is going to be a tough one. What is, if you absolutely had to pick your favorite destination, and it can't be like a whole country, it has to be like I don't know, if it's like Greece, it has to be like a specific island or whatever. And what's one place you wouldn't go back to?
Can I have two?
For which one?
The first one, my favorite.
Okay, only if you really...
I really can't because they're so different. I kind of said it before, but Mykonos was my favorite place because it was just so like everything I ever dreamed, and like beaching and shopping and partying. That's like my cup of tea, you know? And then my other favorite place was Paris because like I really want to dance like in the Moulin Rouge one day, and that's like a big dream of mine. And I could just like so see myself living in Paris, like scooting around, going to the Eiffel Tower, going to work. Like I just loved Paris. So Paris was probably more of my favorite because I could really see myself there. But like I love a good beach shop and party in Mykonos.
I think mine would be Zakynthos because I really loved like the ocean, and we just did so much like not touristy things, but like viewing all these like beautiful beaches and like going on these boat tours and swimming in like these incredible waters. And everyone was just so lovely there. And my other one would be Italy because the food, just like where we were, the little town we're in, was just stunning.
In Florence or Cinque Terre?
In Cinque Terre. And yeah, it was just amazing there. So I would definitely go back there.
And where's somewhere you wouldn't go back?
I want to say
Bangkok.
I want to say London.
I want to say London too.
But I don't want to say London because I know if I wanted to dance over there, that's the place to go.
I think more like, not that I wouldn't go back there. That was just my least favorite experience of the trip.
Yeah.
Was London. And I think that's because we were sick and we were cold and we were tired and it was so expensive. Like if London was first,
I think, yeah, we
would have had a ball because we would have been spending all of our money. We would have been like, I don't know, like living our best tourist life.
Yeah.
But for me, London made me fat and constipated, so I really resent it.
Yeah. If I was to replan our trip, I would put London towards the start maybe. And then that would probably have been a shorter travel time.
No, I think it'd be the same.
yeah.
Actually longer because London's further.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
But yeah, I don't think there's anywhere I wouldn't go back to apart from like, we had a random stopover in Austria for like one of the flights.
I kind of wanted to go there.
Me too. And everyone's speaking German and I have almost a 200-day streak of German on Duolingo. And I was like, this is my cup of tea.
Yeah, she got a fucking
and I
pretzel
got
at
like
the airport.
I got the big pretzels bigger than your face. Like I was living there. Like I really wish that we like got
Yeah,
out and
And
explored
they have
Austria.
different flavored pretzels. Like Indy got a cheese and bacon pretzel.
They have chocolate ones, and they're
Yeah.
like this big.
They were massive. But I don't think I would never go to one of those places again because there was so much to do, and I definitely wish that I could have seen more, I guess, or stayed longer.
Yeah, but by the end of the trip, all of us were like, I can't wait to go back to Australia. But then since I've been here in Australia, I'm like, oh. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for listening, guys. I know there've been some long ones. The past 2 episodes have been quite long, but that's all right. Europe content. You're welcome.
Please make sure that you follow us on TikTok and Instagram and buy our merch and buy our pre-loved clothes and all that good shit.
Merch I'm actually wearing right now.
We actually didn't address the fact that we're all in comfy clothes.
True.
Anyway, whatever. There's like 4 people who watch anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
And we love you dearly.
Thanks, Mom.
I think that's
Bye, besties, and stay sexy. Bum 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 bum.
This is the AA meeting. Welcome to our podcast.
Fuck. I said the.